Okay, here's a Bucyrus Erie 1450W. Now I'm going to take you and I'm going to show you around this massive dragline. Unfortunately it is locked since they're not working today, but I'll be able to take you around, show you some of the basics on it. Now what you're looking at is one of 6 1450Ws that were ever built by Bucyrus. This is one of them right here. And she's got a 250-foot dragline boom. Now, this is one of my favorite draglines because it's a lot more modern than, for say, some of the older draglines that you'll see in my videos, like, for say, Marion 7800. This one was built, I'm not sure when, but it's a lot more advanced than the older draglines. Even the controls, I'm going to take you and show you by the cab. The cab's locked, but I'll show you just how the controls are. Everything's electronic on this dragline. Now the bucket is 65 cubic yards. You can see here's your drag chains right here. My foot next to it there, just to show you how big the links are on this thing. Now with a dragline this size, you always have more than one bucket laying around. They have about 3 65-yard buckets just for this dragline because when one breaks, it may take months to weld it back into shape. So they always have spare buckets laying around. See right here, dual cables to work your dragline bucket, the drag cables as they refer them. Now, dual cables means that the dragline is over a certain tonnage. If the dragline gets to a certain size, it needs dual cables to work the bucket because it's so big. This dragline weighs 3,010 tons. She is really big. And above it, up there, you'll see 2 cables right there. Those work and raise your hoist for your bucket. And you'll notice that the lights are on. These draglines, the power is always on them. That's usually also why they lock them when they're not working, so no one goes in and messes around with the electrical on them. This is right by here by your ring where it swings. You'll see each one of those individual rollers which swings this whole base and rotates it. And this is basically what the dragline is mounted on. This is what's referred to as, the ring on it. You can see the electrical cable that goes right into the J-box right there to bring in your power. But this is what the dragline is mounted on. That's what it walks on. Now that humming noise you hear is the generators right inside there. Here's one of your shoes. This is the extension for the cab. Since this is a more advanced dragline, the cab is put out further in front of the dragline, not like the older ones where it's like mounted right on the side. It's jetted out further so the operator gets a better view when he's working. Now you'll see over here, here's your one shoe right here to walk it. Now this dragline is, just to move the shoes there, it takes, I think it's 6 footsteps every 10 minutes or something like that. But this is just the main foot here that comes down, picks it up, and when you walk a dragline, you always walk it backwards because the weight of the rear and the weight of the boom have to be counterbalanced so it doesn't tip. But this dragline, just to do any digging, has 10,375 horsepower. Now I'll go up on her and that noise you hear in there, again, that's the generators. Here's all for your electronics. And again, inside is locked. This is out by your cab right here. This is where you get in to go inside, but that's locked. Mirror there to see behind you. Here's an inside shot of the cab. If you notice the controls, they're joysticks, unlike the other ones. And you notice everything it's a lot more advanced. The screen here is digitally monitored. This machine is GPS, everything on it. When you're digging with this, it's no ifs, ands, or buts. Everything is monitored on this, so the operator knows exactly where he's digging, what the ground level is, everything. This is a really advanced dragline, which is one of the things I like about it. But the joysticks they're a real nice touch on there instead of the old-fashioned hand levers. But it's basically the same setup to work any dragline. And there are no foot pedals, if you'll notice, for your swing. Swing is on one of the hand levers. And one, as you can see, works the hoist. The other one works the drag. And this one right here which would be your right-hand joystick. That's your swing left and swing right. So there are no foot pedals on this drag. Here's a view here of the couch, the operator's view that he'd get when he's working this machine. But this really is a nice drag because, like I said, it's a lot more modern than some of the older ones. Now around the back here, there are, I believe, 2 or 3 levels on this drag line for all the machinery inside. And the machinery basically consists of 4 hoist, 4 drag, 4 propel, and 5 swing motors to run this machine. And like I said, it creates, altogether, creates 10,375 horsepower. You can see right here, that mark on the ground there, where it's more packed, that's where the dragline was sitting. Usually at the end of a shift, they'll walk a dragline away from the sidewall here. You can see that's where he was digging down there, just to be safe, so if it rains or anything, the ground doesn't give away. What I always found amazing was how close these draglines can actually get to the sidewall before the ground becomes unstable. But this is the back of the dragline right here. And all those vents you see are for ventilation for your fans. And those 2 bars, you may see a lot of them on big draglines and stuff like that. That's your main structure right there. That's your main I-beam, what's holding up the whole dragline itself. This is about a 7-foot clearance right under here. This, what you see right here on this side, that is a crane because some of the parts are so large on this dragline, in order to lift up some of the motors or if something breaks, there's actually a crane right there you can see built on this dragline for when they're servicing it. But there she is, a 1450W, one of 6 that were ever built in the world, right there.